Okay, I'm live. Okay. Okay. I don't even know what to be doing. Okay, let me play music. Yay! Hello. Can I be heard? Hi. Hi, Maureen. Welcome. Can you hear me? Okay. Hello, everyone. Good evening. Good evening. Welcome, welcome, welcome. It's good to have you here. I'll just give it a few more seconds and then we can go on. Just chilling. Hi, Shay. Good evening. Welcome. Welcome, 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 everyone. Good evening. Welcome. It's our first time here together. I hope I can be heard. Can I be heard? Please, I'd like feedback. Hello. Hello. Hi, Sassy Shay. Nice to have you here. Nice to have you here. You're welcome. Oredami, you're welcome. The Shoe Shop by Monique. Welcome. It's good to have you here. Welcome, 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 welcome. Okay, I'll just give it a few more seconds and then we're going to dive right into our discussion. Good evening, Oredami. Thank you so much. It's good to have you here with me. I'm super excited to be here today. So my name is Christiana Adeviyi. So I'd like you to also just tell us your name if you're comfortable with that in the comment section. I am an educator. I believe so much in the education of children. I believe that the African child deserves quality education. And there's no quality education without teachers because teachers are the last line implementers of the curriculum. So whatever beautiful curriculum that you've come up with, it is the teachers that would implement that curriculum. So I believe in teachers as well. So welcome everyone. I am sure that we're going to have an exciting time together this evening. And like a friend of mine said, the perfect teacher is all of us put together because, you know, when we draw on our strengths as people, we can build something worthwhile together. So this is Teachers Lounge, a place where you can come to lounge, really lounge, where you can come to have fun. It's also a place where you can come to learn and connect with other educators. Now, I would like to say that as teachers, you can benefit from our sessions. You can also benefit as a parent. You can learn from the teachers. You can see exactly what goes on in the classrooms. And then you can also, you know, benefit from these sessions as an administrator. You know what's going on in our classrooms, and you know that can better inform the decisions that you make. Ultimately, it's a place for us to come and relax. Okay, thank you everyone. Welcome, welcome, welcome. And while we're waiting for our guest for this evening, I'd like us all to please share one fun fact about ourselves, one fun fact about yourself in the chat while we're waiting for our guest for this evening to join us. Okay. Good evening, Endless Light. Thank you for joining. So we're sharing one fun fact about ourselves in the chat while we're waiting for our guest. Welcome, everyone. It's good to have you here. So for me, I recently discovered that I am a name freak. I didn't know that my names meant so much to me until very recently. Yeah, so that's it about me. I'm a name freak. Like, I like my names. I love my names. And it's interesting that when I get into certain places, I'm called a different name from when I get to another place. So in a place, at one place, I may be called Christiana. At some other places, I am called Opeyemi. And so there's conflict sometimes. All right, I see Sassy Sheyi. My name is Oluwa Sheyi, and I see myself as quite dramatic. I think I can attest to that. Yes, I can attest to that. Oluwaseyi is quite dramatic. Thank you so much for showing up, Oluwaseyi. All right. Hi, Makan. Welcome, welcome, welcome. It's good to have you here. Okay. Good to have you here. All right. So our guest is in. So you can send a request to join, and I'll bring you up. You can send the request to join and I'll bring you. Okay. I'm waiting for other people to share fun facts about themselves. I'm pretty sure Sassy Sheyi is not the only one. Or, okay, why don't we do it this way? What is one fun fact that you remember about your teacher? Or one fun name that you used to call your teachers behind their backs? Hi, Makan. I see that. Thank you so much for showing up. Thank you. Okay. One moment. I'd love to read from you. Please share with me one fun fact about yourself. I am Oyindamola, the emotional one. Oh, so tell me, what kind of emotions rather do you display more often? Are you the crybaby, or are you the one that is, laughing the loudest? We express our emotions in different ways. Nice to meet you, Oyindamola. Nice to meet you. Okay, Imole Ayo, nice name there. Endless Light, thank you for showing up. Okay, just a moment. Okay. All right. Sorry, just one moment. Thank you, everyone. I'm waiting for more. Makan, I haven't seen a fun fact from you. Can you share one fun fact about yourself with us? Okay. Okay. She's working on it. All right. Okay. So while we wait for our guest, I would just like to share my journey into the tech space, or let me start with my journey into education with you guys. Just one moment. Okay. All right. So I'd like to share my journey into education with you. After NYSC, I went home to be with my parents, but after a while, my neighborhood is not the kind of neighborhood that, the neighborhood I grew up in is not the type that you would want to stay in for a long time. Like, the area was not so lively. So I told my mom that I wanted to get out of that space. I wanted to go to Ibadan to live with one of our relatives who is based there. And I just felt that life in Ibadan is not so expensive. I could get around, go job searching, and then I wouldn't be spending so much. So I decided to go to Ibadan. Thank you, Makan. I see that. You said, so you're quite unpredictable. Interesting. I'd like to find out more about that. All right. Now, so I was in Ibadan with my cousin. She's my cousin, actually. I was living with her. And because I wasn't working, I was like, how can I just be living with somebody and be eating their bread and water every day without doing anything meaningful for them, right? So I decided that, okay, I had to think about things that I can do for her to at least make my time with her worth the while. So I came up with two major ones. That's aside the small things I do in the house. I was like, number one, I was going to be the one to always wash her car. And then aside washing her car, I also decided that she had a little daughter. And so after school, I would always take her through homework and then work on other areas that she may need to work on. And so the journey began. Initially, I always had a passion for education, but I thought that it was something that I was going to do when I'm much older, you know, when I'm in my 40s and I've made the money, and then, you know, I can then begin to build a school and get people to work with me to contribute to the quality of education in our country. Just one moment, guys. Please, just one moment. Sorry. Sorry. Okay. Thank you. Thank you. So, back to my story. I always thought that when I'm 40 and I've made the money, then we're going to establish a school for children. You know, the money is there. We're just going to be chilling and influencing the education sector, right? And then, but I never ever saw myself as a teacher. So I took up the challenge simply because I was living with my cousin. So I was always teaching the daughter after school. We worked together and all that. And one of those days, I remember clearly that I was teaching her how to tell the time. And we were just having some fun in the sitting room together when my cousin and this girl's dad were like, okay, you know, you make a really good teacher. I think you should go into education, that you would make a really good teacher. And when they said it, I don't know how how that came across to me. I just took it like, okay, I know. And then shortly after that, I saw a job advert, and it was for a graduate trainee program at a school. And then I just felt like, they've cuckoo said that I am good at teaching. Let's just try it. Let's just give it a shot. And that was how I got in. And that was how my journey into education began. And I can tell you that teaching is one of the best things that has ever happened to me. I enjoy education. I love to teach. I love to teach. And even though I didn't get into the education sector the way I wanted to, but I'm glad that that opportunity presented itself and I got to leverage on the opportunity. Yay! Our guest is here. Good evening. I call her Miss Okafor.
Call me Mr.
Good
Okafor
evening.
here,
Good
please.
evening.
Good evening. Can you
Nice
hear
to
me?
have you with us. Clearly, I can't. Can
All
we
right.
hear? Please, everyone watching, please, can you show some love to Mrs. Adaku Okafor in the comment section? Yay! Good to have you here. I see
Thank
Sassy Shay
you.
saying
Hello,
yay,
everyone.
yay.
Yay, Sassy Shay. Hello. Nice to have you here.
Okay,
Thank
so just before
you.
you joined, I was just telling everyone about how I got to become a teacher. More like I just stumbled into it. Like someone just said, you make a really good teacher. And I was like, okay. The next job that showed up was now something education related. And I just said, okay, let me just try it. And that was how I became a teacher. Long story short. So welcome, 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 welcome. Good to have you with us. I'm
Yay.
so excited this evening. Thank you so much for agreeing to be here. All right, let's get into
Good.
it. I'm sure that everyone cannot wait to hear from you. Now, I'd like you to start by telling us about yourself. You know, most of our children, when they see us outside of the school, it looks to them like, you mean you have a life? You have a dad? You have a mom? You have children? So I'd like you to introduce yourself to everyone watching so they know that teachers don't drop from the sky.
Yeah, sure. That's actually true. So I'm Ada. I'm Adaku Okafor. You can call me Ada. Hi, Lisa. Yeah, so that's just me. I'm a teacher. I love to teach. I love that. I think that's the only thing I would say I know how to do and do very well for now. Yeah, and so that's who I am. I've been teaching for a while now, professionally, and then for quite a long time, not professionally in quotes. Yeah, so that's me.
All right. Nice to meet you, Mrs. Okafor, Ada the teacher. All right. So please, can you tell us, did your journey into education start like mine, where it was more like I wasn't really sure that I wanted to get into education as a teacher. I wanted to be that, boss, the school owner, you have the money, you establish
Mm.
a school, and people are working for you. So was the passion for education always there? How exactly did your journey into education begin?
You can start. So somehow I'd always known that I like to teach, but even if I didn't know that I want to be a teacher professionally, I always say that if there's something I'd like to do, it would be to go back to the university and study education like from the start. But then I think I wasn't given that orientation initially, so I just used to do it as a side thing, just for fun. I remember that one of my secondary school classmates told me later after I started teaching that I always knew you'd be a teacher now. You used to teach, you taught me math, and that's how I was able to pass WAEC. I couldn't even remember, like, okay, that I actually did that for her. Then I remember that when my younger brother was trying to write his common entrance, yes, I was one that taught him and put him through as well. So yeah, I guess it has always been there, you know. The passion has always been inbuilt, but to say, oh, come out, you're going to be a teacher, it's not going to be me.
Wow.
So I also had, even in the university, like we used to do tutorials for 100 level students. So it's always been there somehow, but I never just, could harness it and then bring it out. But so I after NYSC, I taught to during my service year. I just put up a poster in church one day and said, oh, bring your children. If you need a home tutor, let me know, and then I'll come and teach your children for free. I remember that, like, for the first month, it's going to be free. So I printed out in color, put one name like that. I can't remember what name I put. Something tutor, posted in the church's notice board. One woman called me and said, oh, can I start? I said, fantastic. She was giving me, was it 5K or so? I can't remember. That I was going to teach her children. And somehow I got another home tutoring lesson, and then I just started from there. But I was applying in other places, so I said this
Wow.
job. I applied in other professional places. I was going for tests and all that, aptitude test, interviews, and yeah, so I didn't get the job, but I now saw an opening for a graduate training program too, so I applied, and then here I am, professionally.
Wow, wow,
Yeah, so
wow,
that's it.
wow. So I see what I am Lisa says. She says it's been in you, and I agree totally with her. Like it's in your blood. You just
Yeah,
couldn't run away
somehow.
from it.
Yeah.
Okay, and then tell us, can you give us like an overview? How has the journey been so far? Like, is it on
Mm.
0, 1, 5, somewhere between?
Yeah, so sometimes when people hear about teachers, they just feel that they go into the classroom and teach and then back, or if that's how you define it 10, 20 years ago, it's not the same way it is now, right?
Definitely not.
15 years, a totally different ball game. My mom used to say that, this your teaching job is like banker's job. Oh. You're not just going to come. This is like a lot. So you
Yeah,
have to
it is.
invest a lot. Apart from you being passionate about the children, right? Apart from you being passionate about the children, passionate about your job, you also need to have other build other soft skills like administrative skills, being patient, you're their nanny, you're the matron, you're everything, you know.
You're
So
the
you have
dentist.
you're the
You're the
dentist,
therapist.
you're the counselor. My partner told me, Mr. Kafo, Aisha will not go into counseling because these days, the way I talk to these children, I'm going to be a counselor. Yeah, so
You're the
you,
fashion
you,
designer.
you are you are a lot more than just being a teacher. Apart from that, you also need to put down reports, do data analysis, you know, it's a lot more than just, so it's actually been very good. So, you know, you think that you have overcome at some point, you now realize that, there's a lot more to it. So it keeps
Definitely.
changing, we keep learning and unlearning, relearning, you know, to make ourselves better, and to meet up with the demands of education as well, because wherever we are now, education is moving, right? So it's not the way it was even yesterday. Yeah, so that's how it's been. It's actually been fun. I've been
Okay.
enjoying my job. Yeah.
Okay. Okay. I like that. I like that. So I think that for me as a teacher, one part of my job that I enjoy is the interaction with the learners. Like they are
Mm-hmm.
the ones that add the spice to the job, because when you're going to work the next day, you know you'll meet A, B, C, D. Like you will meet different children. Some will come with a new challenge that you have to handle for that day. Some will come and say, Mr. Devi, did you notice that that person is doing something wrong? So they don't want to report to the person.
Mm-hmm.
And you know that those children really spice up our lives. So can you tell me, what can you give us like 4 prototypes of students that you always typically have in your classroom? Just give us like 4 children. You don't have to mention your names. Like 4 different prototypes. Let's know. Thank you.
Okay, so there are some that, let me use my current class for example. So I call one son. That one calls me mommy on a regular. No matter what, mommy, mommy. You know, so you have those people who just want to see you as a mother figure, you know, and
Mm,
would complain and tell you everything about their life and their private
mm,
homes. You know,
mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
so I call that one my son. I have another one called my baby. So they all know that that one is my baby. So they're more in touch with their emotions. They're very emotional. They always want you to be there for them. Children you find. Then you find those that don't seem interested in school, that will just need the extra push, extra nudge, you know. They just feel like my teacher doesn't like me. But oh well, daddy said I have to come to school. So they just say hi from afar, and it will need you to draw. You actually need to show those children extra love, extra love. So if not, you lose them. Okay, you lose those kind of children. Uh, that's the second type of children. The other type are those who are like all over the place, hyperly active. They are everywhere. They're everywhere. They'll scatter your
Energy.
class. Oh, the energy is there, like 110. You also have to find ways to engage those ones so that they don't hurt themselves, hurt others, and they can also learn, you know, at the end of the day. That's the third. Then you have, let me use one. Then you have the really, really super smart one, whom if you
Professors.
don't if you don't engage them, they'll get bored, you know, they'll get bored, and then it now will affect their behavior. So you now start to see them as being stubborn. Meanwhile, they need something, when you're not being engaged intellectually and all that. What's the next thing? To throw tantrums, roll on the floor,
Start
and
being disruptive.
boys
Yeah.
and start being disruptive. Yeah. So, well, those are the four categories of children. There are a
Wow.
lot more, yeah, but most times they fall under this four categories.
Okay, okay. So yes, and the truth is that as much as it seems like, for instance, the energetic ones, maybe in that moment you feel like, this child there, you started. But the truth is, I find out that sometimes when I'm alone, I start remembering or recalling things from my classroom, and I'll just start laughing on my own because the truth is, it's our learners that make the joy beautiful. We show up every day after day, because of these people. So please, can you share an example of a particularly memorable or meaningful moment from your career so far?
There are many moments, so there are lots. How many do you
Okay,
want?
please
So
bring
let
it
me
on.
talk about one. So there's always one that keeps striking. So he came in as a new child in primary one, and then so he's like that. He's in that category of children who I say that they don't want to learn. They're like, oh, why am I even in school? So you actually need to bring them close and show them love. So, and then he's also very strict. So when he came in, he was a new child. He would just start by pinch someone, throw, push someone and all that. But
Wow.
with time, those kind of children will actually need you to sit them down and talk to them. Then also engage them, look for something that they like. So he used to like monster trucks. He used to like
Wow.
monster truck. He didn't like to write. So if I ask him to write about monster truck, that's when he would write. So you have to look for
Whoa.
something that,
Whoa.
that he was very interested in. And then I had to engage or channel that energy positively as well, so that he doesn't distract other children. So
Good.
he was actually, I taught him for 2 years. And when he was in his third year, the mom had to come to my class. She said, please, Mr. Kafo, that thing, whatever was working with you, please, can you tell the other teacher? Because he doesn't seem to be working. He doesn't want to come to school. He doesn't like school anymore. Please go and share with her. I said, okay, I'll go to the teacher. And then I just went there and I told them, see this boy, your shouting is not going to work. Screaming is not going to work. If you like, tell him, shout from the threaten him, it's not going to work. You just need to show him love and
Hmm.
calm him down and just be there for him, play with
Hmm.
him, joke with him and all. So that's actually one experience that I can't forget. I can't forget that boy in a hurry. And if you see him now, he's like in college and secondary school now, very calm. You won't believe that same boy
That was
giving
interesting.
me
Wow.
headache in my class. So
Wow.
yeah, that's it.
Okay. Oh, you're only going to share one with us. You can share one more experience with us. Okay.
Oh, okay. So
Please feel free.
all right. So there's this other. I don't know why I've been so attracted to boys in the classroom. I don't know. Most of my experiences have been with boys and boys who have this kind of needs, right? So I also have a child who had some form of special needs, but not really. Was just on a concern, right? So
Okay.
that one too would not want to do anything at all. So that one, I started calling my son or petting him. Not really. So you don't pet. I will scold him. So when I scold him, then he knows that I'm serious. Those kind of children, right? You know that they know that even if you're scolding them, they know that it's for their own good because you show them love initially.
Mhm.
Like so they will
Mhm.
do anything for you. They will just sit quietly. They would want to stay and do their work and all that. I had a special needs child too in my class who was non-verbal. Uh,
I
he had
remember.
lots of therapists coming into the classroom and all that. And we're working with him even in the classroom. I will never forget the mother sent me a video and his first longest three-syllable word was Okafor.
Oh, Oh my! Oh
Yeah,
my!
yeah.
I
So
can
she told me,
imagine.
"Oh, that shows that like she was really excited. Like you could tell. Sent a video.
My,
Oh, that
my,
was the longest receipt that
my.
got. Yeah, he's no more with us, and they relocated and all that. But that's when you hear that, it's like, I'm doing a good job. God is helping me, and all that.
Yeah, and that motivates you to even do much more and to do better. Okay,
Mhm.
so how about a time that you had to overcome a difficult obstacle? Have you had times where there was like a huge mountain standing before you, standing on your path?
Well,
Any
yeah,
challenges? Okay.
yeah. Like I always say, teaching career, any career at all will always come with its ups and downs and highs and lows. One of the difficult things to deal with most times are parents.
Mm,
You have those parents who are really touchy, those who would call you and call you 1 million times, those who just want to, why are they doing that? So I've learned when I started having children, right? I now could see things from both perspectives, both angles, from a
exactly.
point of view from a mom's point of view and from a teacher. So when I see those parents being very, well, really, I can understand, right? Then from a teacher's aspect, I now know that, oh yeah, there are things I need to do. So sometimes you have really, really, really difficult parents. I mean, like parents that you just want to call the police or shoot them or something. But then, you have to really be patient with them to understand them and to be very professional with them. I've learned from one
True.
of my bosses, I worked with someone who is very, very professional. Like she'll call you Mr., Mrs., this one. She doesn't do any mommy, daddy, any play. No, no, no. So she taught me how to be very professional with parents, to address them, and then
Okay.
also to come, be empathetic as well, to understand where they're coming from and then where to go. So
So,
yeah, that's actually been one challenging part that you actually need to understand and overcome that. So that's one. Other aspects are things like the administrative part. It's always there that you'll be doing reports, you'll be analyzing data, you'll be doing all that. I won't actually, I actually believe that. But then, those things will help you, first of all, to track the progress of the children in your
exactly.
care. Then it would help you as a teacher, informative, that oh, where my children are, where did they come from, where are they now, what do I need to do to
Now,
move them to the next level? Yeah, or what do
good.
I need to, yeah, to move them. So
Okay.
I think basically that's it.
Thank you so much for sharing. Talking about how you have to become a parent in a way to understand some things that parents do. I remember when sometimes, maybe when we're having some class get-togethers and you will just take a random picture. As a teacher, you just took a random picture and then maybe you just sent to parents saying something like, oh, we had fun today. And a parent is saying something like, why is my child not in that picture? And you really have to explain. I didn't really understand it until very recently. So I have a nephew, and once in a while, they send us pictures from his school. What's my business with other children? Immediately I
Yes,
see the picture, I'm looking for my
yes,
my nephew. So
yes,
it is now that
yes.
I understand. It's not that I understand where they're coming from.
Yes.
So yes, dealing with parents is very important, but sometimes as teachers we have to understand where they're coming from to really know
Yeah,
what happened.
exactly.
Okay, I'd like to talk about a season that defined education for everyone who is serious about education in the
Mhm,
world, not just in
mhm,
Nigeria, not just in Africa. And that was during COVID-19 and post lockdown. That
mhm.
was a season that, you know, some people did not even survive it. For me, I was pained during that season because some children did not have access to education, not to even talk of
Yeah.
quality education during that
Mhm.
season. So, what was that season like for you? How did you thrive?
Yeah, talking about children having access to quality. So that's one of my philosophies of education, like things I want to see in the long run. Children where education, quality education can be affordable to
Good.
everybody, not
Good.
just the rich and all that. I don't know. I'm really looking for, that's actually what's so during that COVID period, right? It was really a change. Like you said, it was like a huge overhaul for everybody, especially in
Mm-hmm.
educational. So
Mm-hmm.
thank God for the school where I work. They are very that period they were very proactive and they were very
Very.
we had to catch up immediately. I know that we had no rests. Immediately the lockdown was declared, we started looking for ways that the children could learn. We switched immediately and started using resources online. The children had that. So we never missed any term. Our calendar was on
Yes.
point throughout.
Yeah.
It was a lot of work. I cannot even
Yeah.
describe how
It
hectic it
was.
was for us as teachers and even the parents. So let me start from the teachers' angle. We had to look for resources. Already, yes, we were using technology, right? But not in the way that we saw it coming. We had to switch and started, applying more, using other platforms to learn. We started thinking of ways to upload work. I remember then we would have meetings in the night. We'll call each other in the night. Oh, I just discovered something. I just discovered how to upload this document. I just discovered how
Till
to use this Google
midnight.
Doc. And then night, like we'll stay up and call each other. So teachers were there for each other, like because we're the only things we've got. Even and we're at home. So there's no house. Okay, let me come to your house and come and learn. No, we were at home. Thank God for technology. We all leveraged on the internet, on technology. We called each other and then, pulled each other, held each other's hands. And then that's how we're able to survive.
Good.
I remember teaching online was a lot of stress. Oh God, at the end of the day, it seemed like you handled a class of 100 children because you're trying to get the children to focus. Okay, it was also a new thing for them, right? So I've talked about the teachers aspect. The children too, it was a new platform. Like how can you tell me to sit in front of a screen for hours and hours and I'm learning? What am I learning? And I'm at home. I'm not even in school. So we had to like establish class rules. We had to tell children that this is a classroom, regardless of the fact that you're on the other side of the screen. It's a classroom. We established
Yeah.
class rules, worked with it, and the children too tried. Like I would really commend them. It was a difficult season for them, but the children learned very fast. They coped
Really.
very well. And I thank God for them with prayers and all that. Then on the side of the parents, oh God, one parent called me and said, "Mr. Okafor, your salary should be times three." What do you do? She has one son, and she said, no, 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 this one, and you deal with this. You have over 22 children in your class. I'm like, wow. So it was a lot of work on both parts. So parents too had their own challenges trying to get the children to sit, trying to and they were also trying to deal with their own jobs
Yeah.
online. So a lot
Exactly.
they were studying in their own jobs. They had to get with their children, checking on them and all that. So that period was chaotic, but we made use of that chaos. We harnessed it positively, and here we are using technology in a twinkle of an eye. Like in seconds, I can upload a document. I can set up links. There are different things now that we all leverage on now based on what happened during the COVID period, and that's where we are now. Thank you so much, the Lady Outlet. God bless you. Thank you so much.
So, wow, good to have you
I,
here, Mrs. Agwe. So
I
yes,
love it.
I picked from what you said, I picked three things. First of all, there was already a system in place because we happened to be in that system together at the time.
Yeah,
We weren't starting
yeah,
from zero. We
yeah,
already had something. And
yeah,
so it was easy to build on what was already existent. And
yeah,
this is a call to everyone out there. I know that all the people we have here, it's not only teachers that we have here today. Whatever it is you're doing, are you a carpenter? You have to leverage technology. You have to look for ways to ensure that you're leveraging technology, because in truth, when situations like this come up, whatever you have in your hands is what you would have to leverage on. For certain schools, especially public schools, it was as if there was nothing. And that's why, what did the government have to resort to? They had to tell children to tune in to radio stations at certain times. I found that really appalling. I was pained in that season, because all they had to do was just to listen to someone broadcasting. And we know teaching is much more than that. There's feedback. You have to assess the learning of the children. So what you have matters. And then collaboration, midnight calls, working together. I know how to do this now. Let's learn it together. Let's work together. And, that was a period of intense sacrifice for teachers. People, for us, we were still running the normal hours. Like, it was running like a full school per se. I think at some point we were doing like 5 hours in a day, maybe numeracy, literacy, break, then we'll come back for other subjects. So it was, even though we were at home, when people are telling me that during lockdown they were resting, it sounds strange to me in a way, because we were at home but we were working. I remember that period. My mom would come, she would peep at me in my online class, and then she would whisper, green tea, do you want green tea? And then she would slip it to me. And that was how
something. Sorry, I did not mention the part of the school administrators.
Okay.
Part of school administrators. Can you imagine you being the owner of a school and you're running school during lockdown? Like, I can imagine the things that went through their heads, how they would want to coordinate. They were on their toes. They were like, school must continue. Children must learn. And even
learn,
no matter what it is, they always still make sure. So on their own part, I'd like to commend them, because they also did a good job. If they didn't push us to say, oh, you must do this, would have just been relaxed. But of course, they know the importance of education as well. And they also said, no, we must continue teaching. So you can imagine parents calling them as well. Oh, this is not working. I remember one parent said, it's not working for me. Can you send worksheets to my class, to my house? We can build the worksheet. What this online? I called my boss. She said, no, nobody is going nowhere. We have to learn to adapt. We adjusted, we adapted, and that was all she had to learn how to do. So they also had our back, like our bosses, the school administration, the school, they all had our backs too, because any small, I'll call them, I can't do, what's going to happen, especially when it had to do issues with parents who couldn't adjust and all that. So yeah, I must commend school owners, school executives, the administrators as well. They also did a very good job too.
Very good job. And ultimately for me, I also want to commend the children. Now, these were people that were, for instance, for us at that point, I think we were teaching 6-year-olds. I think those children were around 6. And these children would sit. At first it was challenging. We had to set the class rules and get them to listen and follow those rules. But at some point it became normal for them. And these children would sit with us for hours and engage. Maybe, I can't see your chat in the comments. They would type, and they became so fast at typing. And I particularly remember our science experiments on electricity. We were meant to have that class. Since it was electricity, we couldn't leave these children to handle batteries and cables on their own. And then we postponed it till much later. We're like, okay, after we resume, we're going to do the experiment. But we couldn't. And then it seems like, okay, they have to, it's part of their curriculum for this level. They have to take that lesson. And I remember that I was in charge of science then. So I was thinking, how can we make this happen? How will these children work? How will they perform this experiment? And so I just called one of our, you see where collaboration is important. I called someone teaching science in another year group, and I'm like, And I was like, oh, we were teaching electric circuits, but these children have to perform experiments, but we don't want them to do it at home. I think then we were even running blended schools, so some would be at home, some would be in
Yes.
school.
Wait,
And then it was
yes.
like, let's check online. We may be able to find a virtual lab. And that was how we sat together. We searched and we eventually found a virtual lab. Now,
Yes.
the best part of this experience was the fact that these children were in year 2, and all they needed to know was just put a battery, put cable, and put a light source, put a switch. You get a circuit. Goodbye, everybody. We are fine. That was all they were meant to know. But because we exposed them to technology,
Yeah.
these children went home, and thankfully, they had their own personal devices. They could practice after school. They went home, and in that lab, they kept on practicing.
Yeah.
Such that when I came back to class, they were telling me things like, Miss Adebi, I know how to make the electrons go faster. And then if I want to make the electrons go slowly, I know what to do. And then they started having discussions like that with us. And because we saw that these people had already achieved their grades, we pushed them further. And then we brought circuit diagrams in. And these children were able to read circuit diagrams, and then from the diagrams, construct their own circuits in that lab.
Yeah.
That was beautiful for me. That's like, if you ask me about my top 3 experiences in the education sector, that must be one of them. Yes, because it really showed me the power of technology. So we didn't have to spend our time teaching them so much. They discovered things themselves, and that's what education should be. So thank you so much for sharing. I like the points that you listed out under that. Thank you so much. Now, how do you build positive relationships with your learners? Because as we know, if your learners don't like you, to a large extent, there's nothing, as you are saying it, as it's going into this year, it's coming out through the other one. So how do you build positive relationships with them?
So one thing that has helped me is that you just have to think like the children. You have to be a child. Even the Bible says that unless you are like these little children, unless you're like these little children. So there's a lot to learn from children. They have such a soft heart. They would fight this moment, the next moment they're hugging each other. I just see my children and I'm like, when they hug each other, I'm like, is it not this one that just finished disturbing my life this a few minutes ago, So yeah, there's a lot to learn from them. So I think what has helped me is just to be like them, think like them, come down to their level. My daughter will tell me, my hand is like, I'll blow and kiss it. It's fine. You're like a magician. Teachers, we have a lot of power. I wish you understood the kind of power we had as teachers, right? So connecting to them, being like them, listening to them. You have to be patient and listen to them. They would come with all sorts of complaints. Don't shoot them off. Don't tell them, what's that? What are you talking about? No. And if you keep listening to them, and they would come back. Even you as an adult, you have something you're complaining about, no matter how meaningless it is, and you ask somebody to, once someone gives you a listening ear, you will definitely go back to the person. Do you understand? So I think children are like that. If you're interested in their affairs, they'll be interested in you. One little thing is happening. My sister fell off the bike, and the next day you ask about that sister. Do you know what that would mean to them?
Yeah.
It's my daddy's birthday, and we're going to call daddy. We're going to give him a surprise call, and you call eventually. Do you know how happy they would be? They feel like, they are accepted, they are wanted in the classroom. So that's little things. So it's not a big deal. Little things like that, no matter how tiny they are, it means a lot to them. I had what was it? So I had for behavior, like my school, we're big on behavior this term. So I had a badge I use for the children now. It says superstar. At the end of the week, we're going to award the superstar for the week. You see them trying to behave well so they can all get that badge. And I realized that this badge thing is everybody that's going to get the badge. I'll just, okay, your first best well behaved, second best behaved, third best, I'll give all the position so that it's just going to go around somehow. And then things like that, play with them. just be a child, just be like them, come down to their level and be open, have a listening heart, just be soft and compassionate heart, and they'll come back to you. No, anywhere you go to, they'll always come back, they always refer to you because they know that at some point. And even if you think about the teachers that you had in the past, I'll never forget my nursery school teacher. I don't even know, but I just loved her. So tomorrow, like I still remember her clearly because of that love that they showed us when they were, much younger. So it works. It works a lot. Connecting with them, listening to them, being like them, it works.
Yes, I agree. I totally agree with you because we're all seeking, even though they are children, they know when you genuinely care
Yeah.
about them. They know when you've gone beyond your job as a teacher. Excuse me. They know it's not just about I'm coming to work and collect my salary.
Mm-hmm.
They know that you value them as individuals, and they can really tell when it is genuine, even though they are children.
Okay.
Now, I know that the work we do as teachers is very challenging. Like, there are a lot of emotional ups and downs attached to the job that we do, especially sometimes when it seems like it is even that child that you've sacrificed the most for, that the parents will now call you and say, what are you even doing for my child? Well, blah, 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 whatever. So how do you deal with the emotional ups and downs that come with teaching?
Oh, okay. So we also have our own personal issues, right? From where we're coming from our homes. You have your personal, you have your family you're dealing with, you have your own self, you have the demands from school and all that. So one thing I've learned, and that I learned it when I was in training as a graduate trainee, is to drop your issues at the gate. So I learned that whatever is bothering, just drop it at the gate. Come in with a fresh, or more like a clean slate, and then just be ready to work. Right? So that's what has helped me. I don't try to bring in, even though I'm going through a lot at home or wherever it is, personally, I don't try to meddle that with my work professionally. But yes, we're professionals. And then so imagine you go to a hospital, for example, and the doctor tells you, oh, you don't even know what you're doing here. My wife is this, what's my business with what's going on in your house? I want you to get me treated. I'm not feeling well, right? So the same thing with children. Imagine you're not bringing up your issues from the past. And no. I don't let that affect or meddle with work, right? Then parents too, like I mentioned earlier, the parents could be very touchy, emotional, but I just always try to see things from their own point of view as well. See things from their own point of view and try to reason with them. Assuming I've profiled many solutions and it's not working, I always try to involve the management, we have meetings, and see how we can work with parents because parents are they're our customers, right? Yeah. And always have to try to, we can't please them, we can't do everything they want, but we have to make sure that at the end of the day they are happy, they're comfortable, that all their children are well taken care of. And when they have concerns, their concerns are met and they're listened to. So I think that's it.
Yes, thank you so much. And then if there's something I've also realized that works with parents, it's feedback. So I think they also don't like to be left in the dark.
Yeah.
So when we give them feedback often, oh, this is what your child can do now, this is what it couldn't do before, they can also see the effort that you're putting into the progress of their child, and then they can work together with you. All right, so for me, I discovered that I have certain teacher habits that follow me out of the classroom into my everyday life. And one of them is the fact that sometimes I tend to repeat my sentences, not even words. So I will say something to someone and repeat it again. That's because, now in the classroom, you have to say it like 4 times. And you will still find that one child that will come to you and say, what did you say we should do? I didn't even know that I had this until one day my mom just called my attention to it that, do you know that you often repeat your sentences? I was like, oh, I didn't know that. So please Do you have any future habits?
Yeah, so that one too happens to me a lot because I talk fast. I think I talk fast. I talk fast. It's not when I think. My best friend used to tell me that my words get swallowed up in my throat, that I don't say out of the word. Even till now, I'm talking to my husband, he's like, "What did you say?" I'm like, "Baby, didn't you hear me? Like, didn't you hear me? I just said something now." So because I know that I have that, um, I don't know, whether it's deficiency or something, because I know I have that, I always pick my words when I'm talking to the children. Even in those sentences, I'll pick the words first, then go over the instruction again. So I always talk very slowly, especially when I'm on and I'm teaching the children on, because it takes like double the effort to reach children who are learning from home than when you're with them physically.
Together with
When
them.
I'm online, I pick my words. I try to make sure that I'm as clear and as audible as possible. Right, that's one. Then of course I learned from the first boss I worked with. He would always tell me to go through the instructions before you tell the learners what to do, right? You have to go through
Mm-hmm.
it with them. So you can't just say,
Mm-hmm.
write on board, bring out your book. No. And you have to be
Mm-hmm.
step by step.
By
So
step,
I
exactly.
have to learn that process too, of giving instructions, not just the clear
Exactly.
instructions. And when you do
Mm-hmm.
ask,
Mm-hmm.
you understand what I have said. So I always
True.
say that, even at home to my children. Did you get me? Did you hear me? Did you understand what I said? But I've noticed that I always say
Mm-hmm.
that you understand you, because I make sure that, and I've realized it works. It actually helps me. The way she explained it to me, then and I realized that you don't just tell the children, bring out your notes, then put it in your locker, then put your folders in your bag, and then put your water bottles. It's not going to work.
We are scattered.
Not, I don't know for people who teach older children, but if you're teaching between 5 to 7 year olds, it's not going to work. So you just have to give clear instructions and make
Instruction.
sure that
Yeah.
they follow through. So you give one and then let them do it, then go to the step next. I think that's what helped me. Then I also learned from one of my bosses, your class must be neat and tidy all the time. So
I know that
even if
person.
even if it doesn't, I I'm very, I don't know, like I'm very everywhere. I'm too, like, my things can be like everywhere at the same time. But you see that my class, once I enter, till now, I don't know, I'll just start arranging tables, I'll ensure that, and that's my boss, does that a lot. So I learned that from her. It's one of the habits that because your class reflects you, right?
Your person, yes.
Somebody comes in your class, and you also tell the children too, because you can't be doing everything all by yourself. So when you tell the children that our class must be like this all the time, you see them putting in the effort, because you can't do all the work yourself, right? So you tell the children that around your corner must be clean and tidy. After praying, we'll say, don't share the food with my table, with the floor, or with my shirt. So they know that that food, I can't share it with anything around me. So I also learned that, neatness, ordering. And you notice that when your class is in order, there's sanity. When your class is neatly arranged, there's space, and you feel the children is creating that conducive learning environment, even with
Environment.
neat and the chairs and tables well arranged. So I think those are things that I always I do as well.
I remember that we've had seasons where we had to draw lines on the floor in
Yeah,
the classroom to tell children that, okay, don't go beyond this
this
point. And
point.
then after a while, they start taking responsibility. You see the
Yeah,
children assisting someone else. Oh, your table has gone beyond the
I'm not
line.
on.
So,
Yes,
all right. Now, actually, the work that we do as teachers, like you said at the beginning, is not what it used to be, where people think that, oh, teachers have all the time on their hands. It's not like it used to be.
hmm
We invest a lot of time into education these days. So how exactly do you cope with work-life balance? Oh, our time is running out. Okay, I think we
okay,
should just rejoin. Yes, our time is running out. We can just
oh,
end and rejoin. Thank you.
okay.